As part of the journey in BluePrince, we can experience 6 unique prophecies from Alzara. What he says and shows us are mostly not direct clues, and much more metaphorical and indirect representation of information from across the game. For this reason, there isn't really a fully confirmed meaning for those prophecies, and this video is just my theories and observations about what those things may mean based on the information I have gathered. Those theories will reference content from all across the game, so if you are not quite done with it and are worried about spoilers, please take that into consideration. We start with Simon looking for something he was told he would not find. This could very well be prophecies being self-referential, since Alzara tells him about things he will not find, like the doll mentioned in the same prophecy and some other items later on. In the background of this scene, we can also see Castle of Orient, which is something we can only discover and therefore recognize much later in the game. The black cat tied to a red flag. The cat possibly represents Herbert, who is allied with the Orinda Ares cause, but he himself says he is too old and stubborn to move anywhere else. The red flag represents the realm of Fenris and him being buried in the red soil, and the red banners, just like it says in one of his letters. The flag does not stir, as Fen is basically unaffected by anything he has done in his life. The door of the rogue moon, when we see this prophecy first time, appears to reference room 46. But the whole area here is actually what we see when we arrive to the safe house location. The safe house is a room beyond water. It has no actual door that we can find. It's kind of like the water is the door, and therefore we do not use a key to unlock it. Together, the whole scene appears to be a representation of the underground sections of the estate. The reservoir, the castle, safe house, and even the black cat, Herbert, is currently underground in the tomb. And so, this may be an obscured hint to deeper secrets that we will find beyond the bounds of the house itself. But this prophecy is available so early in the game that as player just reaching this point, we are unlikely to be in position to make any of those connections just yet. The second prophecy talks about a familiar ruin and shows Mount Holly, but there is no time frame specified. We know from the later prophecies that Simon will still be here at his old age, so this could be much further in the future. There is not much detail provided here, as Alzara immediately moves on to the part about the red letters. This part is pretty much the only clear clue Alzara ever gives. There were 8 letters, but Simon will only find 7, and that is the state we end up with at the end of the game. And he also gives us a clue to the pictures on the walls puzzle, which is what helps us gain access to those letters. This puzzle is probably one with the most hints pointing towards it in the game, so they really wanted us to get this one. The meaning of the first part of the prophecy remains a mystery, but maybe it's a warning about what may happen should Simon fail to pass the challenge and uncover the secrets hidden behind the clues left for him. The third prophecy made the game feel a little bit more spooky. The shadow of the man in the doorway to me resembles Detective Von Margel as seen in the drawings in the new clue. So this might be him investigating the estate. The missing item you did not take. While it shows the lantern in the entry hall, my recent theory is that this may actually refer to the missing red letter. We know there were supposed to be 8 of them, and everything indicates Herbert setting up 8 for Simon to find, as that's what he says in the clues he left. So it seems like the one missing from the orchard got taken afterwards, but we do not know by who or why. The general tone this sets about Simon being watched and scared might be to do with his upcoming journey to uncover more of his family's secrets and himself taking part in furthering their plan. Ascending the throne and bringing about the Blue Realm basically puts him on a revolutionary path against Fen, when before coming to Mount Holly he seemed to be completely oblivious to any of this and fully embraced the Fen propaganda. This is what his mother is describing in The Red Prince, but in the uncensored edition and in his journey in Mount Holly, he finally learns the truth. So I can see that being a frightening journey for him, Well, he is here all alone as well. On our fourth meeting with Alzara, we see the prophecy that shows us Simon reaching old age at Mount Holly and likely having his own family, including children and grandchildren. He sits in the old chair in the drawing room, where both Herbert and Baroness Oravay had their portraits painted decades before. The imagery here points us to Herbert's tomb, the library, and the portrait of the Baroness, mentioning the secrets and endings of each generation. Herbert's secrets are the ones we see through the early game and journey through Room 46. But the visual of the library and the Baroness hints at the late game exploration where we start to uncover the secrets left behind by Simon's great-grandmother. I personally have considered reaching Room 46 to be Herbert's ending, as this is the goal he set for us. Then finding the room with the BluePrince manuscript is Mary's ending, as that's what she left behind for Simon to aid his path and understanding of what she means for him to achieve. And finally, the Atelier, Mount Holly blueprints, and the Blue Wheel ending is the one from Baroness Oravay. And that seems to link pretty well with the concept of each generation having secrets and endings for us to find. I wonder if it also implies Simon will leave things for future generations to uncover? There isn't much indication here if he has somehow taken over as ruler of the whole realm after somehow defeating Fenris, or is he still just secret king only inside Mount Holly? But at least we know the whole place was not overrun by Redguard. The visuals we see in the fifth prophecy are from the Fen Museum grounds. We can see the statue and path shown here that match the map left behind in the safe house, which Simon's mother and her group used to plan their heist. Simon would probably go there, as this was the last known thing his mother did before she truly disappeared. He waits in the museum cafe, which was made from the old train station, and train lines and train station are the remnant of the old realm of Orinda Ares. He's expecting something to happen. A shadow that is never cast might refer to a person not showing up. He could have been expecting to find his mother, or maybe an associate of hers, possibly indicating to us he's never successful in uncovering the true fate of Mary or reuniting with her. But I have also mentioned in the previous video, this might be a metaphor for Simon's journey in the game in general. Because as we uncover the various clues in the house, we are walking in the footsteps of his mother and what was happening while she was hiding in the estate, but we never reach her in the end. The final prophecy starts with just visual shots and no words. First the train tracks, then the age surrounded by statues. This one very much seems like an indirect vision of the area where we uncover the Key of Ares, since the tomb clock has a big 8 on it and it's surrounded by the same statues holding the clues. The bridge could be Black Bridge, cavern walls of stone could again be about the underground ruins area. The lantern scene when Alzara talks about hollow lit by stars do look like the ones from Mount Holly blueprint. The treasure beneath the cliff rocks is likely the castle and other ruins that have been uncovered by the previous binding expeditions. Altogether, this seems to point us to the various late-game locations we can reach, trying to tell us there is much more to find in the game without directly showing us where exactly to look. The vision in the Black Mirror possibly reaches further into the future, beyond the story of the game. With the snowy scene, Simon would have to be in Korarica, possibly hinting at him setting off for a journey to find out more information or items needed to advance the family quest. Alzara signs off saying they will meet again in some distant day, but that is likely beyond the bounds of the game. I do assume another prophecy Alzara has made is telling Herbert about his upcoming death, since Herbert seems to be very aware that he will die on a specific date, and that would indicate there is at least some accuracy to what Alzara says and shows. And while there is a blue tent note indicating that Alzara is based on a real soothsayer who was eventually cast out for being incorrect, We do not know what this incorrect prophecy was. It may have been incorrect, it may have just not happened for a long time, or could have been misinterpreted, or even simply contained some truth that people did not want to believe would come to pass. To me, a lot of the prophecies seem like something you understand after you have reached further into the game, to the elements they may have been referencing. And while I think there are indeed hints here to tell us there is more in the game than just the surface level puzzles we have found so far, it's hard to reach specific conclusions without the extra content that comes from making that specific progress. For example, originally it felt to me like Prophecy 6 was implying we could reach the underground castle. But now, knowing about the Key of Ares and Atelier locations, I can see how they fit those visuals much better. But as I mentioned at the start, those are just my interpretations. Do let me know in the comments what you think, and do you have particular theories about those prophecies and what else they might be revealing. If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like, and subscribe to my channel for more puzzle game content, and I will see you soon on another adventure.